Alright, so it's time to answer questions for February 2016. Let's just hop right into it. In your opinion, how come shows like Teen Titans Go and SpongeBob SquarePants get more views and episodes than shows like Steven Universe and We Bare Bears? Quality over quantity is probably the easiest way to answer this. The shitty shows shit out episodes, which gives more episodes to air on TV, whereas halfway decent shows like Gravity Falls and Steven Universe take forever to come out. They actually give a fuck about their show, and they do their damnedest to make a good show, and at least that's my theory. I'm probably not too far off, but it's only a guess, if nothing else. For Disney Month 2016, could you review The Lion Guard, Eye of the Beholder? If it's Disney, I can, otherwise I can do it a different day. What is the best and worst movie you've seen, both all time and in 2015? Well, best of 2015 is definitely Shaun the Sheep. Not just the best one I reviewed, but probably the best I saw last year. Worst movie I saw last year? Maybe Pixels. Honestly, while it wasn't as bad as everyone says it was probably still the worst I watched last year. Of all time, of course, the best would probably be Pulp Fiction, and the worst would probably be an Indian movie by the name of Gun Day. Who is your favorite YouTuber? I think I've already answered this, but I don't have a favorite YouTuber. I have a huge list of YouTubers I like, which currently include a bunch of commentators and ranters, as well as epic rap battles of history, Pie Guy Rules, and some Let's Players like Jacksepticeye and Markiplier, among a few other types of channels. Who is your favorite commentator? Originally, I was going to probably say Professor, like TOG Professor, but I don't know if I would say that at this point because of this past like 2 weeks have been kind of weird. So it's kind of hard to answer that straight up. I think my favorite commentator would probably be Ryan though right now because I still have not watched a lot of different commentators. I do still need to watch a lot more than the 3 that I have. So it's kind of I guess that would be my answer. My current favorite commentator would be Ryan. What is the one TV show you hope is canceled by the end of the year? Fairly Odd Parents, definitely. I know it won't, but Chloe was basically the nail in the coffin of that show. I think if I was more to be realistic with my canceled by the end of the year, I'd hope Sanjay and Craig, if it isn't already. And I'll probably touch on that show in the future. And then, yeah. Like, if Sanjay and Craig is not already cancelled, which I'm really unsure if it is or not, then that would be it. If Sanjay and Craig is already cancelled, then I'd say Pig, Goat, Banana, Cricket. What are your thoughts on versus shows like Death Battle, Cartoon Fight Club, and Fatal Fiction? Look, okay. I like Dan Versus and Epic Rap Battles, but since we're not talking about those kind of versus shows, and we're talking about things like Death Battle, which on its own I don't like because I hate how many ass pulls they toss out there because they really do have a bias towards some of the characters, especially against the anime genre. It slightly annoys me because it doesn't seem really fair half the time, and I believe this is the same thing with Cartoon Fight Club and Fatal Fiction. They're really biased. I mean, I like Kirby, okay? So going back to Death Battle, I like Kirby. He's my favorite video game character of all time. And I don't really much like Dragon Ball Z because, well, I'm not a big fan of shonens, which maybe I'll touch on in a future review. And, you know, Kirby won that Death Battle, but I'm going to be honest, it should have been Majin Buu. Just as one example. The Goku versus Superman battle, the more controversial one. Sure, Superman would have won that, and you guys can argue with me all you want on this. I don't really care. Superman would win that. The thing is Goku. It's like they basically ass pulled to cause Goku to lose in a really pathetic way. You know, and I see this with other shows out there. With other versus fight shows like that. and they're just not fair. I think that their bias gets more in the way of their actual research and stuff like that, and it just I can't watch it. I can't watch any of them. Have you ever shot someone? No, not with a bullet. I mean, yes, with a rubber band gun, but not with a bullet. Um, I've been shot before, but also not with a bullet. Well, actually, no, yeah, with a bullet. Not a real bullet, an airsoft bullet, but still. Am I a bitch? If you have to ask, the answer is probably yes. I joke, of course. What is your favorite color? Pink, blue, and yellow in that order. What are your thoughts on Over the Garden Wall? It's a really good six-parter, with great characters, great story, and interesting concepts seen throughout the show. Something I probably will review in the future, but the thing is I can't review individual episodes without reviewing the whole show. Have you ever played Dungeons and Dragons? Yes, I played back in 1.3. But since I was young back then, it was hard for me to play before falling asleep. But I did play. I distinctly remember a time where I pissed off the whole party in a module so much that they knocked out my character and tied him to the back of a centaur. They woke me up once just to catch the magic missile before knocking me out again and tying me back to the back of the centaur. So yeah, that was fun. Thoughts on the Ren and Stimpy Adult Party cartoon? People give it more credit on being disturbing than it actually is. Do you like SpongeBob? Yes, actually. I think of SpongeBob the same way I think of The Simpsons and Family Guy. When they hit, they hit. When they don't, they don't. They're alright shows that keep me watching in hopes that they make amazing episodes. I will say that SpongeBob has gone a lot longer than it should have. Same with The Simpsons and Family Guy. But I mean, they still make some decent halfway, alright episodes. Favorite Rick and Morty episode? I'd probably say M. Night Shyamalan's or A Wrinkle in Time. Both were really fun episodes that bring you on a journey due to really fun concepts, funny jokes, and really creative choices. A close third would be 60 Minutes, just to give you kind of an idea what I really like from Rick and Morty. Favorite and least favorite cartoon? Least favorite's probably Teen Titans Go, of course. As for favorite, probably either Total Drama or Steven Universe. Which is a weird choice to have as my top 2 favorite cartoons right now. What is the absolute worst cartoon you've ever seen? Like, so bad that even the name makes you sick to your stomach. Nothing that really makes me explicitly sick to my stomach by name. However, I will say the Japanese anime Bondage Game got close, which I would not be against reviewing if it wasn't for the fact YouTube would take that shit down for terms of service. What is your opinion on Wabbit? Well, you're gonna have to wait on that one, I'm afraid. Is there any good music-driven shows you could recommend other than some of the better-known ones like Class of 3000 and Steven Universe? Nah, I'm not sure. Most musically driven cartoons are either well-known, incredibly awful, or incredibly old, but were known well at the time. I suppose you could find a few, and if you do, I'd love to be introduced, but I can't think of any offhand. Have I ever seen BoJack Horseman? No, I have not, but yes, I have heard it's a great show, so probably one day. What are your thoughts on the show Boondocks? I haven't seen it yet. It's on my to-watch list. What do you think about Total Drama Season 6? Was there a Season 6? I mean, if you mean Pakatu Island, that was Season 5.2, and Redonkulous Race was a spin-off. Technicalities aside, if we're talking about Pakatu Island, the season could have been a lot worse. I feel like I should wait to touch on that in the Total Drama series review. Same with Redonkulous Race. But again, I don't think it was that bad, at least from my memory. Well, that's the end of this. Seems a lot shorter than last month's, but whatever. It's probably because I'm doing this differently. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys liked it, I guess do what you do. And I will see you guys next time. Take care.